Hey everyone, welcome to the Dead Guys Talking Tech edition. This is where we're going to talk about all the technical aspects of my journey. We'll be talking about like video editing, various platforms, and anything else that might come up on any sort of project that Brian and I might do. So if you're not into the tech stuff and you just want to see the coaching, you probably want to skip this one. Otherwise, please enjoy. Take care. Bye.
So we're going to do some just general talk today about curating a show. Now, maybe to put this in perspective, is I have a broadcast radio show I did for 2.5 years. And then several months ago, I stopped that radio broadcast with the purpose of going cold turkey to the videocast. Now, I was broadcasting in the New York metropolitan area, developed an audience of sorts, and now I'm looking for something besides just New York metro area. So I've already put 2 shows out onto YouTube, and in the process, what I do is, before, since it was a radio broadcast, even though I would record in Zoom, I would convert the file to the file format that the radio station needed, and I would send that over to them. And then they would put all the commercials and weather and all that stuff that they needed. And I just sat back and relaxed. I just had to send them each. There were 4 segments to the show, the way they ran their show. So I just recorded 4 segments and sent them to them by Dropbox. So the first thing here is that there may be off-site storage things. I mean, I have OneDrive, there's Google Drive, and these other places to do stuff. I just happen to be using Dropbox, and it's been working for me to do it, so I just haven't changed anything.
Right.
So, and I get 2 terabytes to park my stuff, and I don't even think I've gotten 25% of that used. And I do a lot of stuff, so the fact that it's only 25% after everything I've done, it's just remarkable. And if I need more, I'll get more. Or I'll start offloading stuff. I'll start getting little devices, 1 terabyte hard drive thing, plug it in and start moving stuff over to that. But anyway, Dropbox is my current medium for just parking stuff temporarily. And then once I curate something, I put it up on YouTube.
Give me 1 second. I have to grab something real quick.
I'm just going to pause this. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I forgot my phone was about to die. So go ahead. Go ahead.
So anyway,
sorry.
These are the fun parts about Zoom. Eventually he'll be cordless and he can move around and still talk.
Man. So maybe.
So eventually you'll be cordless and you'll be able to move around.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that. Yeah, I had to plug in. I was just thinking about like the Dropbox thing and how every time I would pause it and like jot down a note on my phone, I'd have to find where I was again. It wouldn't save it.
Right.
Even though the app was still open.
And so that's the advantage for me, by the way, of taking everything. So eventually that material, that's the broadcast shows, I will rewrap and I'll put it up on YouTube as a listening product, because there would be no visuals except that I create. Maybe I'll have some sort of video thing. I have access to all kinds of video technology, so I'll create a video that just loops and loops and loops, and it'll be an audio track. I'm not the only person who's got this kind of challenge. Like there's a guy who's been doing stuff for a long time, a guy named Art Bell. You might even know the name.
Oh yeah.
But he's now doing something Midnight in the Desert, MIDT. He was Coast to Coast AM, and I used to listen to him when I used to do a lot of late night driving. So, and then somebody named George Norrie took that over, and it was interesting stuff. It wasn't quite my thing, but it was a lot of cool guests and beyond belief type things. But and I always have the ability to suspend disbelief and listen to people talking about aliens and Bigfoot or whatever. So the and I'm what I call an open-minded skeptic anyway. So anyway, but George Norrie now is doing something else. I don't know if Coast to Coast even exists anymore.
He's doing this will be like a treat for myself when when the money is flowing, but he's I think he's got a show called Beyond Belief maybe, and it's on it's a streaming platform. It's but focuses on more spiritual aspect of things.
Okay, so it could be on Gaia,
Gaia. It's
or
on
Curiosity.
Gaia.
Okay,
Yeah.
So anyway, and I can see that some of the stuff that I do could eventually become part of one of those platforms, Curiosity Stream or Gaia, or or so. But and that might not ever happen. I mean, it's just a thought. But and some of the reason for people going to those platforms is that they can start talking about stuff where a paid audience will follow, and they don't have to worry about YouTube content restrictions, and things like that. So,
right. I think that's why people are using what is it called? That guy who helps people, talks about narcissists, Richard Grannon, is on Telegram, because they pulled a video of his from YouTube. And then there was even another guy who started his own streaming platform because he was interviewing David Icke during the he had like 4 or 5 interviews with David Icke during the beginning of the whole COVID thing. And David Icke, are you familiar with him?
I don't know David Icke. I know the Grannon, but
he's very he's probably one of the leading conspiracy theorists that are out there. And so
okay, well, I'm hopeful that we are more of an educational platform than a confrontational platform.
Yeah.
Though and there are things that YouTube may or may not monetize, and that's other people's concerns, is most people's real concerns is the monetization, so that they can have their show maybe temporarily, or certain episodes could get monetized and others not, and it's just too hit and miss, and those kinds of things. So if the reason for going on YouTube is monetization, there could be some elements of care that need to be provided. I noticed that there's a lot of people who are being very careful about on their platforms about how they attack, if they attack, say, Putin, or they're talking about Ukraine, or maybe they're doing something the exact opposite and trying to vilify Ukrainian people or something. So so there's a lot of things that plays a role in why people might go to one of the more private platforms, like or whether maybe even on Spotify or whatever the case may be, so that they have different elements of, or maybe even no restrictions to the platform whatsoever, and paid followers can go with them. There are people on YouTube who have they get their income from Patreon and other.
We're frozen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just froze.
Okay, so there are people on YouTube who may not care about YouTube monetization because they have Patreon followers and things like that, and I'm not quite sure I know intimately all the details about how that works, where you're picking up income from specific sponsors or other things like that. Those sponsors are really end user sponsors in this particular case, because I can't imagine YouTube would have anybody selling ads on somebody's show that gets posted on YouTube and they get nothing.
Right.
So so you can, let's look at the idea that whether there is monetization for the energy that we're putting into these things or not, and it's not my driving force per se, but if it turns out that I get the following on YouTube that I had on the radio station and other things like that, then some monetization might fall into place. And the challenge being is that I'm having conversations with people, and I may eventually invite somebody who is, speaking in such a way that it upsets people. And then that if people get upset, then YouTube doesn't want to monetize the platform or the show. If they think it's too much risk to their sponsors, they're out. So, you have to kind of think of, like, if I have, what are the subjects that I could put on the air that could make somebody uncomfortable? And there could be a lot of things. I don't know. I tend not to talk about politics.
Yeah.
I tend to, but I may talk about things that are the wrappings of what's going on in politics, like fear-based postures and things like that. So who knows? I don't know, what those sensitivities are per se. I can guess a little bit at them, and I feel like I don't do anything that should threaten those things. Yet, who knows?
Well, I mean, we have this particular show is about, it's a startup, basically.
Yeah.
So
there should be no issues with what we're doing here, but that's going to be on your channel.
Yeah.
So, and who knows? It could turn out to be the biggest thing since sliced bread for you. So cool, go for it. So anyway, but these are kinds of considerations. Is like, where are things going? What can they do? And when would it be possible that you could deplatformed? Because, and to make up a modern phrase, to be deplatformed or at least demonetized, because suddenly sponsors might be uncomfortable. So those are the kinds of things. Right now, I don't think we're doing anything that would be, maybe we should be more careful about what names we say, just because there could be sponsors who don't want other names to be mentioned. I don't mean necessarily personal friends or whatever the case, although we may be careful with that too. I don't know. But there could be, be careful about products we say. We could say, here's a product that we use that does this, and let people guess what it is or whatever the case may be. So so now we're going to be talking about, in some ways YouTube is a product.
Well, yeah, but I think you can give it credit. I mean, that's
right. Well, when we're talking about, when we were testing this headset, I mentioned the name.
Oh.
So it's, it doesn't mean that we don't sanction other things and we only sanction this. And that should be very, very clear. It just so happens this is something that just crossed my path. It was inexpensive enough to order. It sounds good enough to use. And maybe for somebody who's getting started and wants to get heard better than they would with their crappy microphone on their computer, this is a good way to go.
Right.
And ideally I would tell everybody, get a mixer, this one's a Shure, but get a Shure microphone, or something quality of comparable quality. So, am I saying you can only use Shure? No, I'm not saying that at all, but that's what I've been using. So, and there are other brands of stuff that I would happily use, Sennheiser, whatever. So anyway, we're just gonna maybe act as if things are part of the review process too. Is like, we may decide later on that this is kind of hokey and clumsy for the long-term effect of what we're trying to do, but for now it works, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, I showed you the other day the studio lighting. I didn't just have a mixer. I got studio lighting. There's a towel on the door. That's just, kind of piggy, but that's there in case I spill something. But, and I'm in pretty crowded conditions at the moment because my studio is kind of in flux. But and what I call my studio is a old dining table that I retrofit as my studio. So I can actually make sounds bumping into things. It's not a perfect studio, but it does what I need, and it's doing what I need it to do.
But I mean,
this is like an evolution of like, I mean, it's far superior than where I'm at the moment. So, and I'm going to work with what I've got, and
Right.
we'll see, we will see that, we'll see that happen as it happens.
And things evolve, you know,
Yeah.
like I had a little tiny, I bought whimsically a mixer that USB plugged in mixer. It was some no name compared to some of the established names that are out there. So it was some no name thing. And for the longest time, that worked for me. And then when I wanted to get this microphone, this particular microphone, because the radio station was kind of concerned about some of the voice quality I was sending them.
Okay.
So I wanted to use this microphone. So I ordered this microphone and tried to plug it into that mixer, and it required that mixer could not provide the juice that this microphone needed to work properly. So I had to make a decision, you know, and when I decided I was going to buy an upgraded mixer, I did a lot of research and I went with something that was more than just the next step up.
Right.
So, do I have the best? There are way, way better, but for what I spent, which was a couple $100, I got something really good. And I get, if I want to, I have sound effects. So I could tell, you know, God jokes because now I can sound like God, you know, that kind of thing. And then there are other sound effects. Actually, that wasn't really sound effects. That was just adding reverb to the process. But but I also have sound effects that I can put into the background, and you know, things like, I've never used the sound effects for anything, but they're there if I want them. So okay, so just kind of picking out these things and slowly migrating towards those things, you know, eventually, you know, and we have a lot of power with things like Zoom and some off the shelf or budgetary conscious things that can do a lot of what we need to do without doing what I did here. Like, you have a challenge because your current equipment has no spare USB ports. So most of the upgraded microphone options, these things called Yetis and other things like that, Blue Yeti and other things, which I personally think sound okay, but they're not particularly great. But those are USB connected devices. They're not.
Well, I could get one of those USB things that is a multi-USB.
You could do that, right? So you could add more ports with the port you are able to play with. So you could get more done.
Yeah.
So
maybe some, I mean, I could definitely start like a shopping list of things that, well, that are needed. So, I mean, like if we're talking about like, I'm just going to call this business. So a multi-port USB would be a, I mean, is there anything else that you think is?
Well, and just as you know, so you know, I've gone through several multi-port USB, multi USB port type devices, and I have found that there are some that can't handle, like they may have 10 ports on them. I'm not saying you need a 10 port one, but they may have 10 ports on them. But if you light up more than 4, they start to struggle. They can't handle all 10 ports being lit and used, especially with certain devices. Like if you have an iPad, which draws quite a bit of power, you know, you start changing the equation. And I'm not saying you have an iPad in the equation. I do. If you do, great. If not, I don't know. But so there, you might want to make sure that when you're researching these things, that you're not just grabbing one just because it's cheap, because you need to consider with the power load that goes across.
I'll look ports. At the reviews and whatnot.
Okay. And I could tell you which ones I use that seem to be working okay, you know, and I've had to retire a few just because they eventually quit because I overworked them.
Right. A headset was the other thing. So,
right. And you could then get a USB or a wired headset, and save yourself the adjective of having to worry about charging a headset or having it stop working because you failed to charge it in the middle of something you're doing or whatever.
Well,
So there,
can you send me some info on the items? Like if I do get that multi-port USB and a headset, you think it's worth getting?
yeah. So I'll
Okay,
even
cool.
send you the very multi-port unit I'm using in case that's
Okay.
still available. I mean, so many of these things are Chinese made and they change. So you
Yeah, but
get them for 18 months and then you can't get them anymore. As long as they're working. And that's what as I said, I've thrown some out just because they just quit. And
right, right.
and for things that size and that dollar amount, they're not that expensive. I never buy extended warranties and things like that. So, so
Okay. Well, okay. No, we were going to talk about.
so I have a show that I recorded, and
Okay.
I was going to curate the show and put it up on YouTube, but I wanted to make sure we covered some of the background stuff. So, so the channel I created on YouTube is called
Okay.
Things I've Learned from the Universe. I created it quite a while ago, and I have barely used it. I just started really using it recently. As far as creating audience and traction and subscribers and all that stuff, I'm a complete newbie as a user of an account on the platform. But I'm familiar with by virtue of some of the stuff I follow and even some of the training I've allowed myself to put, to go through in terms of what to do to make YouTube functional and work. And so, there are so much of this I don't know if you've seen this, like if you do any YouTube surfing, you'll see somebody the headline for their video is something, and when you watch it, it's like not quite that. And
Yeah,
the
I
reason
know.
being is because they put a bait statement in the headline
Yeah.
that doesn't quite match up to the actual experience, which is to me disappointing.
That's
Like,
not authentic.
yeah, if you don't have real content, why do you have to jazz it up?
And they put pictures on there that are, the same with the image they use on the thing. Like it's not
Right.
it's not an image that's actually it's not a screenshot from the video.
Right. That's right. And then sometimes you watch some of these videos and they're just pieced together videos, and they have like a speech through the whole thing. It has nothing to do with the videos you're watching, and so, so I'm hoping that this thing we're doing now, and then other things that we'll do down the road, whether it's on your platform, on YouTube or mine, or, anywhere else we want to go, that that we're being authentic and creating real content that people want to watch.
Right.
So, and and it can't go right now past hoping, because I think there are some things about consumer taste that can be, I'm using the word fickle. And then there's this kind of weird thing that's kind of showed up, that if your video is more than 3 minutes, no attention. And if it's less than, and then the gap is like less than 2 hours. And then after you get to the 2 hour mark, suddenly people are more interested again. The latter part may be a little bit of a fallacy, but the idea is that when you have a longer show, usually you have more meaningful content. Some subjects you can't do you can't do service to some subjects in less than 90 minutes or more.
Right.
So,
well, should we talk about what you were going to do? I mean, are you going to do that, or?
I will do it. I just wanted, let's just kind of talk in general terms first. And so if you think we've covered enough of that ground and you can ask more questions as we go along, that's great.
Well,
So
I also want to talk. I mean, I would like to talk about like I went through our first video before we even had this idea. And I still have more to go through, but there were notes that I took where it was kind of like, what do we need to worry about and edit out? And then how do we do that? Because it's like, so I just marked down times here on my notes, and there's like, like at 16 minutes and 30 seconds. And I mentioned like somebody's name, and I don't know that, or somebody mentioned somebody's name, and I don't think that that person would necessarily want their name on the video.
Right. Well, and
So
specifically, it could be people in our own lives that may
that's
not.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
So, and I certainly talk all the time about my daughter and my ex-wife, and you know, I'm
Well,
kind of
saying
an open
daughter,
book, but I've just presumed that one day they're going to get upset with me, and I'm okay with that. But you may not have the same okayness on that subject, and that's okay. So we can definitely bleep it.
well, also, is there a safety issue to think about?
Well, I mean, if you're telling people where you live, maybe we edit that out, so that lowers some of the challenges that take place. There's always, like, here's the thing I've always been thinking about in terms of this idea of when we're putting ourselves out there, do we increase the chances that we could become a target? A safety factor, as you just described.
Yeah.
I am assuming that there's a risk, but then walking down the street, you could become a target for reasons you don't know. And the idea is that I don't believe we're doing something. I think what we're talking about and and even on my own platform, what I talk about, I believe is interesting. I don't think it's threatening. I don't think anybody should go in there and start, I got to kill you because you said something. I don't think that's likely. And the other thing is I'm not going to attract that. I mean, in terms of staying higher energy and higher vibration, so to speak, if you want to use the parlance of woo woo or the new age stuff. I feel like I'm grounded in the process of what I'm doing. Yet I may be talking about things that are based on personal data. And even though I'm a scientist and a trained background in science, I may, in some of the things I talk about, I may be stepping past world-class science discussion and talk about personal data, which is subject to scrutiny by scientists if they want to. But is somebody going to get threatening about that? I don't know. I'm kind of inclined to think I'm not saying anything that's that. And first of all, I think if anybody is going to be that triggered by it, they're probably not. I'm not their stuff to listen to anyway. They're not going to be
right.
They're not going to.
Well, I mean, I get you. So you're not concerned about mentioning other people's names.
I often will just refer to the title, like my daughter, my ex-wife.
Well, but in that first video, because we didn't know we were going to do this,
that's right.
Personal,
right?
It's like,
so we'll bleep it.
Yeah. So we'll just bleep the names. Okay. And then the other thing,
even where you live, we'll bleep.
Oh,
because you have a son. If my daughter was living with me, I would probably not tell people where I live.
But I never said where I live. I said what town I live in.
Yeah, no, but even that may be just too close. So for, so we can be reasonable about that stuff and just take those kinds of things out. And we just have to kind of be cognizant as we're producing new material to, you can say California, it's a big state. I think there's like 30 million people in California, maybe 50 million people in California. So good luck anybody who needs to find you because they got ill will towards you finding you.
Right. Well, what about also like times like earlier in this meeting where I got up and I went and I turned the heat on, or I grabbed my phone cord.
Mm-hmm.
Can edit those out, or
if you want, if that makes you feel comfortable, and honestly, it's kind of nonsense for the viewer anyway, but but maybe it's raw and real. So,
okay. I mean, honestly, there's like this fine line, right? I don't want to be lazy, but I also don't want to waste time on like worrying about like editing every little thing when there's like a bigger picture here. And it is raw, it is real. Like I have to get up because it's cold and I need to turn on the heat, or I need to go to the bathroom, or like I said,
that has to stop. No more bathroom for you ever. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah. And I just noted, like, even on the first video, like I was kind of doing this a lot because I had like this like tension headache back here from caffeine, and I was kind of like doing this funny looking yawn where I'm trying to pop my ears or whatever the
Right.
tension is back here, and it looks kind of funny. It's like, what, it's not like a normal yawn. It's just like I'm just opening my mouth really wide, and I'm like, I mean, somebody's gonna see that and they're like, well, that's kind of odd looking, but
Right. Well, and you'll get used to this. Like sometimes I have a cough. Now the cough is dissipated much. Some
right.
of it came from surgery I had not too long ago, and some of it's allergies to the environment. And I recently discovered that I have to be very careful with my caffeine intake because that results as a cough.
Yeah.
So, but when I do cough, I tell people I had too much caffeine today, and that the cough is the side effect, or whatever the case may be. So, anyway, to be serious, sometimes they just say, "This is what's going on," and I keep going, and I don't. Some because then I don't want to go back and edit all that stuff out. And it's not particularly real to start taking stuff out. People are going to start to go, "What's happened there? What happened there? What's that blip? What's going on?"
Yeah, no, it's true, because I wonder that. I'm like, oh, I bet he fucked up. That's why he.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm not going to worry about editing that stuff out. If we
I
need,
think you should. Maybe we'll take out a couple of names.
well, yeah, I mean,
only because.
We mentioned my son's name, my ex's name. You mentioned your more current ex's name. And
yeah, so we'll take those names out. We'll
only
take
other
those names
thing-
out because it's not. I'm, we're in some ways we're bringing them into our story, but it's not fair to have their story somehow or other hinged on what we're talking about. So we'll just make their lives more private by taking their names out, and that's probably the right thing to do. So we'll find those points, and we'll just take them out, and it's not a big deal.
All right. Well, I'll keep going through that, and then maybe you can show me how to do that. But you're going to show me something here.
So today is kind of a speed tour.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Because first of all, we know our previous meetings we've been doing this on an afternoon, which was a morning start for you, and things like that.
Yeah.
And then but putting that aside is I just wanted to kind of get this conversation started about where I'm going with these things, and in terms of what I'm doing, and I'm going to curate right in front of everybody the show. So to put this in perspective, my radio show and my video cast are called $1 Million Feeling. It's not about the $1 million. It's about the feeling. It's about this, like, I feel good, and I'm building a positive living community platform, and inviting people to come on and talk about their lives, or talk about their message or a combination thereof, and whatever the case may be. And I'm letting people have an authentic conversation about with me as part of maybe I'm fodder for the conversation, or sometimes I may do some interview like stuff. It turns out it's really just a conversation. Then the longer I've been doing this, the less interview that's really going on. And maybe you can call it an interview, just a laid back style, or whatever the case may be. The idea behind this whole thing is just to allow people to express themselves. And I believe that what they're talking about is interesting. And I believe what they're talking about is because they're interested in positive outlooks for humanity and the individuals that they're going to meet and work with along the way. This conversation we're going to curate today is somebody who has all the power to be an extraordinary coach and is really not coaching yet. Kind of is, kind of isn't. She's giving advice and all those things. So we're going to curate her show today, and we're going to get that put out there. And I'm going to show you kind of what I go through. So the first thing is the show's already recorded, kind of like we're doing with this stuff. It's already recorded. When I hit the end session button in Zoom, the show pops up in my display, and then I drag it up to Dropbox just for storage.
Okay.
Then from there, I got to do other stuff. I have another show that I need to curate that's got a little bit more of a challenge in it, because there was a kind of a break in the middle of the show that was unforeseeable because the guest conversation partner that I had to go take care of something all of a sudden. So so we'll edit some of that down or out or whatever the case may be.
And
So
maybe we can like number the dead guys talking, like dead guys talking 1, dead guys, and this could be like, instead of having a separate thing, this could be like dead guys talking 3.5 or something. It's like
sure, why not?
It kind of tails off of like, oh, we're going to do this training part or whatever it is. Let's just figure that out when we get there.
Well, first of all we're doing is conversing.
Yeah,
and I'll assure you that some of the tools that I use, there are going to be people who are going to snicker at.
Of course. I mean,
because I'm doing things, I won't call it on a pure budget, but I'm doing things that once I learn how to use something, I'm kind of resistant to learning something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's stuff that would be, once I learned it, would be better. And I eventually am going to have to do that, or I'm going to need to hire somebody when the time is right, who's going to do the heavy lifting on some of this editing stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the dream.
And for the time being, so to give you an idea, is I'm using Windows Movie Maker Pro.
Okay.
And
see, I wouldn't be able to use that, right? Because I've got a Mac.
Maybe not, but there's iMovie.
Yeah.
Which I think does very similar things.
Okay.
Now I have iMovie on my phone and I have iMovie on my iPad, but I'm not doing this kind of work in that platform. Although I could now, because I have Dropbox and I could pull something in, do whatever I got to do, and then send it back to Dropbox if I want to. Whereas in the past, one of the challenges, so even though I'm on a PC or a Windows platform largely, and I have, as probably you remember, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors, which is technically 2 computers, and 4 monitors are on one system and the other one's separate. And eventually I'll just retire this one over here. It's taken now it's starting to just take up space. I'm using it less and less. But putting that into perspective, why do I have so much stuff? Because I'm doing so much at once. And this way I just move stuff around. Some screens are for my steady state interaction. Like I have Facebook Messenger, the app, on a window right here. I have Zoom, Telegram, WhatsApp, my Google Voice, and a couple of other things that are over here. So those are the things I might pull in front of me, make a phone call with Google Voice, and then drag it back out of sight. Facebook Messenger, bring it forward, do the message, put it back over there, whatever I'm doing to get things done. So I'm doing a lot of things at once, and my days are robust with activity. And just for the record, I schedule downtime, because if I didn't, I would be fried every night and I would eventually lose my passion for what I do. And excuse me, downtime might not be the right word, but I do schedule personal time.
Right.
So so anyway, where are we going to go with this? I'm going to share my screen in a second, and then we're going to look at, I use HD Movie Maker Pro as one of my tools. I'm going to show a little bit about what I do on YouTube. I'm going to upload and I'm going to curate, and then I'm going to bring in a graphic that will be the thumbnail for that show. And that graphic will be something I created, and I'm using PowerPoint, but somebody could use Canva to do the exact same thing. I'm just doing a landscape image.
Okay.
And because I was using PowerPoint throughout my professional life, it was just something that seemed fairly easy to work with. And I'm sure people are better at PowerPoint than me, and I'm sure there are tools that are better than PowerPoint. It's just, that's what I've been doing. I can see that I'm going to need to move over to Canva, because I'm now doing enough project work with enough people. I might need them to jump in and do stuff with it that involves working with something more shareable. So, but for the time being, I'll show you what I am doing, and then along the way, you either find your own alternatives or tricks, and maybe things that are better that you will share with me, and I will learn from you. So,
and then what about just the whole starting of a YouTube channel and all of that. Should we do that another time?
Well, maybe we'll see how time goes for this. Let me just go ahead and
Yeah,
curate
because
this.
I don't want to. Yeah, so
I'll curate this one show. We'll put it over on YouTube. I'll show you how even a little bit about how I promote these things. So once the show's created, in fact, the second show that you watched, which was the person who has the gaming philosophy, I haven't promoted that show yet. I've been so busy on so many other things. This is because even though it's a passion of mine, I'm just kickstarting it at the moment, and I'm okay with this sort of a gradual start. I'm not expecting to have a whirlwind audience with the first 2 shows. I think I need to build a catalog of shows, and then I can start, and I will start to pick, once they're out there, people going, oh, I like that show, I'm going to go listen to the other one. Okay. And I will get better at doing some of that stuff without being scammy and baity about the titles, but I will be better about creating subject lines for the videos that tell people why they want to watch this particular show.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So it's all work in progress. Everything we do is work in progress anyway. All of life is work in progress, right? So, and so for anybody who's looking for perfection out of the gate, maybe we're not the people, we're not your cup of tea, right? So, and I actually think anybody's looking for perfection out of the gate, it's not being particularly realistic anyway. So,
right.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do it.
So let me share my screen. Okay. Now, I have several things I do at once. So let's look at the idea that on my desktop, I'm going to go to, there's one of the things I got to do right out of the gate is to go to my radio show, other media section here. I'm going to go into placards and backgrounds, and I'm going to do my pictures of my guests, and I'm going to grab one picture of the guest who's going to be part of this particular experience, and I'm going to edit the photo just because I want to crop it a little bit and make it so it fits more conveniently. So I'm going to open with, I just happen to use Paint 3D. Okay, so I hit the crop button, and what's that? Is that on my screen or is that on her photo? I might have to actually fix that little blotch there. Do you see that little spot on her?
Yeah, I do. I was
nose?
wondering if it was on my screen.
So that's the photo she sent me, but you know what? Wonder what
Does she have a mole there?
Not that I've ever seen. So I think it may be something that was on the camera. So, this is an area where I'm not particularly an expert, but let's see if I can maybe just copy and paste a little piece of her nose on top of that, and we'll just blotch it out. Might need to make the picture larger for me to work with. Oh, it's a blue dot. Is that something I did? Maybe it's something I did. Let's start over just in case. I didn't remember seeing it before, so it's probably something I accidentally introduced. Good, it's clear. So let's crop it. So all I want to do is make it more of a headshot. And I don't focus on whether these are perfect or whether they're professional shots. That's not really that relevant. So I have to somehow rather go back to that folder, and then we'll drop it in. And I'm gonna label it as crop. It's gonna try to override it if I don't do that. Boom. So now I have that shot to use when I go in, and that's all I wanted to do here. I may have to go back to it. There's reasons why that is, but it has something to do with my website. Sometimes the photo is too, intense for my website, it won't let me upload the photo because it's like more than a megabyte or something like that in size or whatever. But I'm not going to fuss with that with you today. So, but it's exactly where I need to be for now. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, because I said I use PowerPoint, I'm going to open up PowerPoint. And I have to find in the same area, same folder system, but I just have to go there. Placards and backgrounds. I call them placards. Those are like almost like the information cards we're going to put out. So let's see. Let's just grab the one that I'll just use. Tasha was one of my early guests, and so I will do her placard. So now I'll just replace this picture with Marianne's. And, you know, if I'm boring you, let me know. I'll go as fast as I can.
No,
So,
you're good. You're good. And these are things you've already created. Did you create this placard in Canvas or Canva?
No, I did this in all of it's done in PowerPoint. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there it is. I don't know why I couldn't see it, but there it is. And then I just shrink it down to make it fit more reasonably.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna.
So this will be the picture that people will see on YouTube.
Yep. It's also the picture you're going to see on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these other places where I share the show. Once the show's launched, I put it out there.
Okay.
And I don't have any particular thing. As far as what she's a founder of, she is a practitioner inside of a platform called A Course in Miracles.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm going to say A Course in Miracles, advocate and expert. Funny, I don't remember the topic at the moment because it's been so long since I listened to the show. Give me a second here. Play some Jeopardy music or something while I'm talking, thinking this thing through.
Yeah, even some Jeopardy music.
Da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And this has everything to do with my being. Last week I was knee deep in a launch for a new website for one of my clients, and I let it. Oh, you're playing the song for me. Thank you. I have to. I'll just listen to the show.
All right.
Crazy. So, did I get the $50,000?
No. All right.
If you've ever wondered whatever became of, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP.
It's kind of funny because that show just crossed my path recently.
It's definitely not editing this out.
No, we can't.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
I can't believe that I can't remember the exact theme of the show. I know what we talked about, but it doesn't make me remember the theme.
Yeah.
So it's coming. It'll come. I know exactly where I wrote it on a piece of paper too. So once it gets here, I'll see it.
Man.
Lots of pieces of paper. I just threw all the stuff. I took it off my desk, so that's why I'm discombobulated too. And I'm seeing things that I need to take care of that I've been pushing off. So I got to get that done. This is not a good search through my paperwork.
Doing great, Brian.
Okay, well, why don't we just do this? Why don't we listen to the show for our first few seconds and just take it off of that? It's easier. In fact, in order to do that, I have to turn the sound on or nobody is going to hear this besides me. So.
If this, let's make this a two-parter if we need to.
Okay.
So we're not, I kind of have an early bedtime on weeknights.
Well, I don't think we're going to go that much longer, but
okay. I don't know how long this takes. It's
so here's the raw. I mean, this is the show.
I mean, this is good.
So
hello,
I am Brian Baird, and this is. So is there something other than otherism? Makes it amazing for a conversation to stretch our own brains, and then perhaps by the conversation we're about to have, we can share that. And this is $1 Million Feeling. Our theme today is there something other than otherism? Okay. Why I couldn't remember that title, I couldn't tell you. Now that I hear it, I'm going, of course. What else did we do? So, okay.
Beautiful.
So, you know, little alliterative play on words, I guess, of whatever the case may be. But so Marion and I had a 90-minute or so conversation about this subject, and she's kind of a cool person. So to give you the perspective on why I asked her to come on and talk, it's because we were just having a catch-up conversation. We hadn't talked in months. And and then when we were having this conversation, she tends to be kind of one of these people who's able to walk between two universes and see both points of view, understand both points of view, and think both points of view are completely relevant. And with in this world of partisanship that we have, that's not so easy to come by. And although we didn't spend a lot of time talking about politics, we talked about some of the framing that goes into politics. So I thought she was I said, why don't you come on and let's do this show about otherism? Because racism, sexism, genderism, ageism, whatever it is that, you know, why do people do that? And we had a great conversation about it.
That's cool.
So anyway, so here we did, you know, so I'm just going to save the PowerPoint first. And then I'm going to save a PNG file. I tend to make files PNGs. Just because I know where it is. And so I'm going to save that. So then we'll have that placards there. It's ready to go. I can use it in the show recording and everything. And when I put the show together, this placard will be in the front of it. It'll be at the end of it. I also I have not done it yet, but I will frame for her a quick website that will have her stuff, her contact information on it, because she doesn't have a formal website at the moment. So this way she's got, you know, and I'll just throw something together that is more like just a digital business card type of thing. So, Okay. And I'll share that, you know, not tonight, but I'll share that maybe next time we talk or whatever the case may be. So
Sure.
now I've got Marianne's photo in here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because they just, I'm thinking that's better, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to resave, and I'm going to resave the PNG file. Okay, duplicate or overwrite. Yes, and now we have both done. I'll keep this minimized in case I need to go back to it. So the next part here is, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that I went to a website a while back and I spent extensive amount of time looking at I think I shared this with you at the end of our last discussion, but so Free Music Archive.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the arrangement is with these artists that put their stuff out here. They might be doing culture building and they were looking to, you know, so whether or not you want to find something that is, for, maybe I'll let you do the searching for Dead Guys Talking in terms of what you think might work.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
And I would pick a few out. So I would go to freemusicarchive.org.
Okay, let me I'm gonna take that down.
Well, let me throw it in the chat for you.
Well, I don't know what to do with it with the chat.
Well, you just open it, click on it, open it up, and it'll open a page.
Oh, and save it. I got you.
So, okay, it's there.
All right, got you. Let me do that real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna actually start a new folder and then start bookmarking. Well,
so without spending a lot of time on this website, let's just say I was looking for a soundtracks type of sound. So I click on soundtrack, and then maybe I'll say,
oh, 1 second, I can't even see you. I'm still doing my own thing here.
okay, I'll let you finish.
Yeah,
I'll even go back.
Yeah, good, thank you. I wonder if I should be sharing my own screen. Probably not. All right, so
just say like I'm here on Free Music Archive, and I decide maybe I want soundtrack.
Wait, there you are. Okay, gosh. Okay, so you go. Yeah, you want a soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm just picking a possible theme. I mean, there are some of this music has vocals to it with words and things like that, and maybe there's a great song that has the vocals that sound good to you, whatever the case may be.
All right, and you can organize it by genre and. Yep. Okay, cool.
So I happen to be fairly fond of Scott Holmes music. In fact, the song that I'm using for my show is from Scott Holmes music. So, and I make sure I give credit to Scott Holmes music. That's another thing that's important to these people, is that when you use their work, you give them credit. That's how they're getting paid. So now, could I switch to another sound later on? Maybe, although I like the sound I have. So, and then if I did a search under Scott Holmes, I could find a lot of other pieces that are by him. But let's just say I'm not really worried about the actual artist. I just want to check out, here's something called Native Ocean, and the song's called One Man Book. Okay. I don't like it. Yeah. It's not that it's just a little too laid back. It doesn't, and I'm not opposed to calm music because I certainly have I have a lot of taste. Midair Machine is the artist. To Believe and Break. Let's see what's going on here. I hear a lot of cacophony in this song, so I'm out. Right away, you can. For me, I can just tell right away that would not be for me. But again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Let's see what this song from Circus Marcus. Let's see what this is. Too slow. Drums have their possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, a little harsh, but it could be interesting. A lot of people on YouTube find a soundtrack that kind of is maybe even abrasive on purpose,
Mhm.
and they use that as their theme. So anyway, I'm not going to spend any more time on this. I'm just going to say, you pick the genre, you figure out whether you want
Oh,
instrumental or
awesome.
vocals. You can go everywhere from hip hop, jazz, novelty.
You know what I think is really powerful is certain kinds of post rock.
So,
So-
and there actually is, between pop and rock, you can find, a
Oh.
host of things that work. And so,
Post
and
rock right there.
inside of rock,
You were just on it. Post rock. They're fourth column over, right in the middle.
post punk or
No,
post,
post rock, fourth column over, right in the middle.
there it is.
So it can vary. So let me
So
see some of these bands.
Let's grab once again this group called performer called One Man Book. Let's
Okay.
listen to Disturbing Hybrid.
Oh, no.
Now, I happen to like how it started.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know
anyway,
that
that's-
I don't know that it's theme music for a show, but I like how it started, and it doesn't set me off way some things do. Some things I listen to it for 10 seconds and I go, I'm done, I'm out.
Well, I'll
So-
check it out for
Yep.
sure.
So, and so what I did then, now that I'm showing you this, and I had pulled out a song from this,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to show you what song it was. I'm going to go to that folder. So good thing I don't have porn on here or something, right? So the so you're going to see in here, I've got I don't remember where I put the song at the moment. I'm going to have to take a minute to figure out what I did with it. This is video cast. Okay, I cleverly put it someplace that and it might be under the it might be under production here.
Music.
Okay, yeah, this is where I put it as music to select from. And I'm not quite sure, a little strange blip that's happening here on my platform. I think I probably need to reboot my computer and flush out some sort of memory leak, but the I have so these are the songs that I have pulled down from Free Music Archive. I'm not using all of them, but I pulled them down because they were ones that I thought had potential to be used. So there are songs even on here that I think could have valid benefit. Here's one from called Ketsa, and the song is called Not This Way, and I'm just going to open it. Oh crap, what am I, let me just listen with something else. Open with, I thought I was already using Media Player, but okay, that's fine. I'll just use this one. So I don't have my act together, apparently. It reminded me of Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's why I saved this one.
So, hey, here's a question. I played that music while you were looking for
it was so tinny that there could be copyright infringements, but I just say for the purposes of what we're doing was just, it was fairness, fair use doctrine. You know, we have to be a little careful with it. If we're concerned later on, we can edit it out. But all of these are cost-free, royalty-free. Again, you just got to give credits. And I am. Ketsa is the group. Not This Way is the song. And I came from Free Music Archive. So it's, you know.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering, because I was
Yep.
playing that music.
Yep, I wouldn't worry about it. It's, you know, it wasn't like we were trying to do money making with it or something. So, but the reason why I do have these that has potential someplace, but it's not what I used. So anyway, now I just got to find what I used. So, and I did pull down a few sound effects that I ultimately decided not to use. Intro length music. That's the other thing, is finding a piece that's the right length. So many songs for 4 or 5 minutes. That's, you know, so my computer's freaking out on something here. Do you see how it's painting in very slowly, painting in the pages?
Yeah.
So editing and more, maybe. Nope. Well, this is going to be a problem. Well, you know, it's not going to be a problem, because I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull up an existing video that I produced, and I'm going to sort of move that stuff around from there anyway. But I grabbed a song from Scott Holmes Music called We Are One. And I happen to like it. I happen to like the way it works. You've heard it. And then I took a snippet of that song and made it the intro. And then I took the rest of the song and made it the outro and let it close out the show. And then on the outro, it's 2 minutes and change. I don't remember exactly, 234, 260, 248. I don't remember what it was, but you know, most people, when the show's over, they're not going to stick around for 2.5 minutes of titles and credits and things like that. So, so it's just there. If somebody gets busy and doesn't have time to turn it off, the music at least is reasonable to listen to. It might even get you kind of pumped. If you're on a treadmill or something, it'll be great. And then I do intend to always add some value in that section. So there will be quotes from the visitor, the guest, the conversation partner. There will be maybe quotes from me. There may be quotes in general. There might be even eventually I might even add little quizzes. I don't know what I want to do with those last pieces of it. But the first two things that show up on there are the guest, how to get them connected to the guest, and then the second part will be credit to Scott Home Music. Okay. So, and I'm about to go in and actually now pull up Movie Maker Pro, and I'm going to manage an existing project. So let's do this. I have a friend of mine who does a podcast. I actually curate her shows for her.
Right.
So here's Jesse.
Yeah.
And the show with Jesse was a little bit shorter than I thought it was going to be, because we did a lot of talking before we started recording, and I wasn't strictly keeping track. But there just seemed to be a natural end to the show, and I just closed it out. So could we have talked for more than an hour and 14 minutes? Probably. And Jesse was a great guest. He had a great subject, and he also was and he's very knowledgeable on what he's doing. He's also launching a platform for people who are in technology and gaming to make it so that they can connect the dots between their safety and satisfaction with technology and how they can actually improve or have a fantastic human reality life.
Right.
So, and I think you listened to the show.
I did.
So anyway, so you can see I've got Jesse's placard here. The placard shows up again here. And then I have a quote from him, a quote, who knows, maybe from me. And then I put the music credits last, and the music credits ride the rest of the show out.
I see. Okay. Right. So that's
and-
like the whole thing there.
Right. And if you add this up, 30, 50, a minute 10, so it's 2 minutes and 45 seconds of song. So, and then at the beginning, I play 20 seconds of the song in order for just to bring the show in. And so,
Right.
and I captured a segment that I thought was fitting. So if we listen to it, it goes like this. Hello, everybody. And it bleeds into the actual recording that I have with Jesse by just a couple seconds. That's done deliberately. So now I'm going to set up the same thing. I'm just going to change the placard. I'm going to change the show. I'm going to move. I might have to reinsert this other sound clip here. And I might have to, anyway, this is what I'm going to be doing is with HD Movie Maker Pro. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start changing placards. I'm going to add this clip. I'm going to go in the current position. I'm going to grab a photo or a video.
Oh, that's cool. It's just plug in.
Very, very simple to work with.
Wow. It's like, you don't have to like actually, it's like a stencil you're using.
Yeah. It's kind of, like almost template characteristics can be here.
Yeah. That's what.
So I'm going to grab that, not the photo. I'm going to grab the placard I created.
Right.
I'm not quite sure why I keep going back to that site. I got to figure out what's going on with that. I do believe I'm having some memory issues here, but pictures of guests are not what I want.
You personally?
I want the placard.
Brian,
what's that?
you said, is that you personally, or
My computer seems to be having
your computer, not
I
you?
think I have used it without rebooting it for so long that I actually now have a memory leak that's starting to clobber things.
You have to turn your computer on, off and on again, Yeah, you ever see that show, The IT Crowd?
Right. Well, I will say that under Windows 11, which is what I'm on, it has been the most stable version.
I don't think you're hearing me.
I don't know the show, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think you'd get a kick out of it. It's an English show. But that's what they always say, turn it off and on again. Whenever they're the IT guys in a big company and people are always complaining about their computer. It's not working.
So I already know that I want 23 seconds because it's exactly what I used with Jesse's card. Now I can delete Jesse's card. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to delete the show. I'm now going to add a clip, which is now the video.
Okay.
And that we find under Zoom meetings. And then I go scroll down to the show that I recorded with her. These are a lot of shows I did for radio. So we're just scanning right through them. And then I got to find her show, which is right here. And I'm just going to grab the only video clip that I have in there. We'll find out how long it is in a second here.
Okay.
So it's an hour and 34. I'm going to make it second here. And so now it's kind of screwed up I have to find the soundtracks. So I'm going to have to figure it out because it screwed up my soundtracks. So anyway, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this quote because it's his. Doesn't belong to her. I'm going to delete this quote. I'm going to leave the show label in here, and then I'm going to re-add the placard with her picture on it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go back to, and I probably should find a better way to organize this, but this is what I got. So I'm going to live with it for the moment. And so I'm going to move this over here. And I know it's 1:35 at the very end, but I need a minute and 10 seconds also. So I'm going to give 30 seconds for people to grab her name.
Aha.
And then I'll put 2 more things in. For the time being, I'm just going to make this 1 minute, and I'll make this 1 minute and 10 till I find, I didn't think about what I wanted to add as content yet. I just wanted to kind of rough this out. And so I'm going to show this to you. We'll upload it to YouTube. I won't use this one yet. I have a few more things to insert, but I need 2 minutes and 45 seconds of playtime at the end. So I'll fill in placards and quotes and other things.
Well, if you want to do that, on your own, and then we can, that, because
Well,
you don't want to.
I'm going to
you don't
finish
wanna
this
up-
out as is right now. So I'm just going to put in here for the purposes of creating, because it won't, it doesn't matter because 110 seconds. Is that right? 30, 20, 20, that's not 110 seconds. That's 70 seconds. So now I got to go in and clean up the soundtrack.
Okay.
So I'm just going to delete everything in the soundtrack. So all I did was paint it and delete.
You
So,
can probably fit in, like if you insert your music, you can see the last thing you inserted, possibly, and you don't
Maybe.
even have to.
so, but it's not doing it that way.
Hmm.
So, but it should be under my $1 Million Feeling site, and you would think it would be in the radio. This was the station I used to be on. So once I find it,
Well, if you know what the name is, why don't you look it up on that website?
don't be smart. That's an order.
I mean,
Let's do that. Thank you.
or shoot, there you go. You can even do a search for it. Even better.
I may have changed the name of it though. So let me just see what this sounds like. Let's go back for a second. Oh, I'm not in the right place. Stop this. Stop. Go over here. Now we'll play. No, it's not right. I probably did it a different way, but let me just go ahead and clean that out. I probably have a different title. It's probably intro. It's probably intro and outro. So been a while since it's been a couple of weeks since I did the other shows, or almost 4 weeks since I did the other show. So that's why I'm still a little rusty at this, but let me do insert local music. And I'm going to look at that. Why is it on this folder? Huh. I'll take it from here. Here's the intro. Oh, I can't use this because it's not including my little blip in the front. So let me just find, let's go back to this PC and we're just going to find intro. Once I know what folder it's on. Let's just try under my.
So once you get your shit together, we can reshoot this show.
Is that right? Or we just keep on doing wasting time and cut it out later, or just leave it like it is?
This is raw, man.
Totally. Maybe it's on this folder and I just didn't see it. Nope. Let's try the outro. It's what's weird is it's not showing me the folders when it just pops up like this. I've not seen this kind of mess before on my not happy. Not because I'm wasting time here for you, but just because in my own busyness. I haven't gotten these shows curated, and I would know where all this stuff was if I was consistent with getting these things done. And I'm learning that I need to be a little bit more, I need to put stuff in places where I'm not going to lose track of it. So this is intro length music for production. Makes perfect sense, right? But it's empty.
Mhm.
And this is just music I had that had some of the maybe possible sound effects, 15 seconds here, whatever. So, but I decided not to use it. So that's why it's there. And I know I'm in the right area because of that, but it's editing and more. That's old stuff. That's old stuff. It should all be in here. Hey, anybody's watching this? If we didn't edit this out, get organized. That's video casts that are done.
Well, I'll leave this one up to you. How's that?
Okay, so the gist of this, I'm going to go ahead and just say, you kind of heard intro and outro music. So let me just go ahead and I'm going to upload an existing show. I'm going to leave this one here. I will say that it takes a little while for this to render. So when you say you're going to save a show, you save a project and you save a video, then it'll take, I don't know, depends on how much is going on my computer. That's part of it. It depends on how much available space you have, because that's, but whatever, if you get generally good performance and all that stuff, it can take 10, 15 minutes to do a rendering if for something that's an hour and a half like this one is.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take Jesse's show and re-upload it just to give you an idea. So let me just duplicate this so I don't lose some goofy thing that I was listening to. And then
in the back of the head, or whether he drowned, we don't
Okay.
know. But he died after being thrown in the well.
Great.
so every once in a while I listen to that guy. So here's the show that's already existing, but I'm going to just re-upload it and we just won't publish it. So I'm going to hit manage videos. I clicked on my channel, which was what on the far right hand side there. Maybe I should go back and do that again.
Yeah.
So once you are, my account is on the top right hand side of when you're on YouTube, it'll show up on the top right hand side of the account that you have. So I just clicked on that photo and it brought me to my channel, which is what this is here. And then I hit manage videos. And I'll do a separate recording offline, just me putting my video together. I'll start from the beginning and do that again, just so you, if you want it, you have it. So,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to use whatever.
mhm.
I mean, you're not editing your actual videos, and that is something that I'm going to have to do, to bleep out names.
I actually could use what we just looked at to do that. I can go through and I can, you know, and if I, let me pull that back up for a second here. So down here where it says music track has nothing to do with the video track and the audio that's in the video.
I understand.
So if I clicked on this section here and I knew I could do a few things, I could add effects, I can trim portions of the video, I can just knock it out. I can do, I could knock out the sounds with the effects. I could actually go through and I can trim audio and keep the video, which is what effectively a beep will be for us. We'll just block it out. And if it's really important, we can actually add a little sound effect at that exact same spot that goes beep, beep, or whatever, you know, so people know that we did doctor the video.
Well,
so I can do that with this.
Why don't we, let me find out if I can get like if I have the iMovie or whatever, and then I'll upload that video to it somehow. And we have to go through all that. So maybe we can work on that together on
okay.
another video, and we can talk about the editing process and all of that. But let's just get this done so you can show me, and then we'll maybe, when we have time, we'll do that again.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit create.
Okay.
And this is something that I've been doing routinely. In fact, you can see there's lots of videos that are being added here now. And this one here for 10 Million Smiles is one of my clients. Here's some of the videos. Then I've got $1 Million Feeling things. I mean, sorry,
Yeah.
the Effective Way is getting some video content on here, and that's going to continue to grow. All my catalog is going to grow tremendously during the course.
And you also wanted me to like kind of go over this with you too, just creating my YouTube channel and figuring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and maybe what we'll do is we'll do that, but then we'll have to be prepared to edit something that may be, so we don't have people hacking your account.
Gotcha. Yeah, of course.
So I'm just going to upload select files. And then once I curate a show,
excuse me.
So here it is, gaming philosophy.
Yeah.
So I already curated, it's already saved out here. Now it'll take a while to actually upload it, but we can talk for a minute while it's doing that. Okay, here's a great question. When I hit the next button, it says, is this made for kids or not? So it's really about, are you going to get angry parents involved in the discussion we have? Well, we might not be completely cleaning up our language. So I would say, no, it's not for kids.
Right. Of course.
It could be some adult subjects. So it's not for kids.
No.
So, you know, there are things I might say it's okay for kids to see because it's nothing, you know, but I'll say next, and I'll mark it as unlisted for now. So while this is getting pulled up,
but I saw, like at the beginning, I saw you can put like a description. Is that where you put all?
And you can do that after the fact. And I often do because I'm not sure all the time what I'm going to put up there. And that's where you have an opportunity to do a little bit of a teaser without being inauthentic. And that's where you also have the opportunity to give people some real essence of what's going to be, what they can learn from listening to that.
Got it.
So So it's only 2% done at the moment. So we may not want to take all that
Let's
time
not
waiting
worry
for
about
it.
it.
So, but in the meantime, while that's uploading, I just wanted to show you that when you grab a video, I can actually edit this right now while it's being uploaded, and I can add a thumbnail.
Okay.
And the thumbnail would be that placard that we made.
Right.
Boom. So now his picture's there, the show title's there, or the theme, or whatever we would like to call it. And then this will get filled in by the process of the upload. As far as a description is concerned, you can fill in this description while the video is coming in. And I can say that the amazing whatever.
And you can put links to anything that was referenced if
Yep,
you want to.
including URLs,
Okay.
Footnotes,
All
whatever,
right.
whatever you want to do. So that all can go in here. Now,
Okay.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
There's always things to learn about, how to properly fill in the title so that it's attractive, but also keeps, helps you organized. Part of my titling is to help me stay organized because I'm running multiple. I'm just going to back out of this for the moment. I'm working on this project for one of my clients, 10 Million Smiles. This happens to be a fundraising piece for a nonprofit organization called 10 Million Smiles. And we're producing, some videos get used as header videos for the actual website artwork. Some of them are actually messages like from this guy, Eddie, who's the founder of the organization, and so on. So in order to separate his work from everything else, everything says 10 Million Smiles, and it has their logo as the thumbnail.
Right.
Now, all of this stuff is unlisted. So whoever's listening to this, if you went to things I've learned from the universe, you're not going to see all this stuff because I've marked it as unlisted. It's not there for consumer action. It's there to be used for a website, and it's put into the website. Meanwhile, Jesse's show is public. These are public, these things for the effective way. $1 Million Feelings, other show with Tasha Chen, is public. And then the rest of the stuff is either in draft or unlisted and not and they're there for other purposes as well.
Okay.
By the end of June, I should probably have, in just the radio show or video cast now it's called, as I'm calling it, I should have at least 25 shows up by the end of June.
Wow.
Have that many guests stacked up waiting to be having a conversation, things like that.
Okay.
And the topics in the conversations are, some of them are going to be really, really intense, and some of them are going to be fun, and some of them are just going to be interesting, or a combination thereof. So,
Okay.
so that's the gist of it. That's the gist of it, other than my embarrassment of like looking for recordings I can't find. But and it's a minor embarrassment. I don't sit there and live major regret. So,
Well, it's yeah, it's part of it.
right.
But it's
And it's now dinner time.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely time to take care of a few things before bed. Oh, it's 7 on my end. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So what do you think of your tour so far?
Good. I mean, I got some ideas. I have a little better understanding. And I think we should work on that first one together.
Okay.
So, and possibly maybe privately, because the names are mentioned.
Yep. And then and maybe also, we don't worry about whether it's in iMovie or Movie Maker Pro for the time being, because it may take a little while to come up to speed on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So much of what we do may not require major curation if we're going to keep it raw, especially as we know how to do some filtering of things like names going forward, as opposed to trying to remove them after the fact.
Right.
So anyway, that's the gist of it.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop the sharing here and that concludes what I kind
Yeah, you can see how lovely my lighting is. This is my pixel background. It's a TV static background.
there you go. It looks really cool.
This is after midnight, 1980, or maybe even 1970, huh?
Could be. If you could get the test pattern.
Yeah.
You know, like are you old enough to remember test patterns?
Yeah.
You know,
Man, that's bad. That's why we don't see that at night. I mean, in the morning, but
right. Well, not anymore. Everything's 24-hour cycle. So
well, I guess also once I have the green screen, there'll be less of this. But I do need a light. I mean, I just need a light on this desk, period.
right.
Because,
Well, I'll share with you what I used for studio lights here, and you might
how much were those lights?
$50.
A pop?
No, all three.
Oh, there you go.
They just need USB ports to power them. So that multi-port thing is going to be important.
Yeah. You and your fancy pants.
So yeah, if you could get like an 8-porter, that should hold you. I don't think you
8?
don't need
Good God, I was thinking of getting like 5.
I have a 12-porter that's chock full.
Holy moly. Well, manifesting.
And there's a reason. My extra displays are the pass-through is through USB.
I got you. Yeah.
So I have, 2 of those. The lights, that's 3. The cable for my phone. Actually, there's 2 cables there.
Well,
and
I'll
other
let
stuff.
I'll let you do the editing on this one.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's something we can do together. But
yeah, we'll do it together because you know where they are already. A couple of points you already observed anyway.
Yeah, because wouldn't it be great to like have this video and then be like, okay, guys, here's this video and we're editing in it because Brian had a senior moment.
Yep. And by the way, folks, even though I look like I'm 25, I'm not. So
I've been having senior moments for years.
Oh yes,
so.
no, you can have them when you're 3 nowadays because we live in a toxic world, and I think that robs us of brain power. So
yeah.
So but anyway, now my mission is after we get done here is I got to go find that effing music.
Just download it again, man.
No, because I already had it edited with my intro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like 28 seconds of the.
Well, I'll give you a clue. One place you should check. The trash bin.
Yeah, well, if it was in the trash bin, since I just emptied it, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
but it's in some place real clever.
Yeah.
Someplace I said, "Oh, I'll remember it," and I don't remember it.
Because I do it all the time.
Yep. So, ask me to find my wallet. I kind of know where that is, but ask me to find stuff that's supposed to be in the wallet. That's a whole different ballgame. Okay. Keep well. Enjoy dinner.
All right, buddy.
Enjoy the balance of your evening, and then we'll come back to this soon.
Yeah. Let me know when you have time, and just let me know when you have time, and I'll say yay or nay.
Possibly Thursday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, tonight was it was great. I was gonna have a conversation with a friend on the phone, and then I was like, oh well, hey, let's do this. So
okay.
I could schedule that for another time. All right, man.
Indeed. Okay. So keep well. This recording will be loaded up shortly.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, my Dropbox is full already. So
is it?
I've been trying to what did I do? I tried to upload this to my.
Are you telling me that your Dropbox won't let me to put stuff in there and share it with you?
Well, I don't know, but it was like telling me it was full. So I actually uploaded something to Drive today. And here we go. I have it here on so that I have it. Well, you can't see it, but I have our first conversation on my Google Drive.
Okay,
And
well,
when I
I'll
pop-
copy it over there again, and you just let me know if you can see it. But,
And this
um,
actually saves the spot I'm on, so this is great.
okay, well,
I mean, I don't know what else to use right now.
way to
but
go,
you could
Dropbox. Way to drop the ball,
Drop
Dropbox.
the box, yeah. All right, man, we'll figure
Okay.
it out.
Talk to you.
Oh, we can, yeah, you can share things on Google Drive too.
I could, except I barely ever use that, so I'm gonna have to kind of figure out what I'm doing with that. And it also has size limitations, but
Probably.
without paying more, it has size limitations. I paid to have the extra storage on Dropbox. So.
Yeah. All right, man.
Okay. Talk
All
to
right,
you.
take care.
Bye.
Yep.